Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our regular student online podcast. This is where we place a spotlight on issues that surrounds and affect us as a student. We set the stage and allow the news makers pull their strings. And today we are here with the Liberian Student Council President elect of the recent past election. And we are here to have some conversation about how he planned to navigate his manifesto as it relates to the student populace. So we will give him the opportunity to introduce himself and we will dive into the discussion. So how are you, Mr. President?
I'm okay. I'm Sarah's. My name is Thomas Dean, President-elect of the Liberian Students Association, Financial Secretary of this current government, and I'm also a student of the Ravdentas University Faculty of Business and Economic, Department of International Trade and Business.
Okay. That was a very fascinating introduction. Too much portfolio for this woman. So we will not waste much of your time and we will dive directly into the discussion. So, Mr. Thomas Dean, what if somebody is watching right now, maybe from the student audience, and want to know who is Mr. Thomas Dean? Can you tell us in maybe just few words, just summary, who is Mr. Thomas Dean?
There are a few words that defines me, and one is humanity. Another is I am a person that seeks the interest of the public, and like I'm doing today, I'm not into this space to seek my own interest, but just for the to seek the interest of the Liberian students. Because few people will say this is a political space, but then I'm considering it as a space to serve as a leader instead of a politician.
Okay. That was very insightful. He's a leader, instead of being a politician. That was powerful. And you, as aspiring leaders, should, take cue from this one because you should serve as leader, not just as a politician. So we will dive into the next question here. So, Mr. Thomas Dean, what inspired you to run for the Student Council president?
So, from my observations, I came Cyprus 2021, and I've been hearing about leadership governing the Liberian students here, but their impact was not felt to an extent. And last year, when we supported the current president, Mr. Jeff George Moore, when he became president, I saw the work he was doing. So, in order to continue the good workings of Mr. Jeff George Moore, I I mobilize students to support me in this process, in order to continue the work that we all started. So one thing that in this leadership that we've been able to achieve is good governance, and I feel in order to continue the work we started, I feel it is good and it is necessary that we continue trekking on the path of good governance and transparency as aspiring national leaders and international leaders.
Okay, we should continue tracking on the path of transparency and good leadership as leaders. I mean, this is a very fascinating discussion. You can tell from the exuberance of our president and we here at the Student Voice Cyprus. It is always a pleasure to have this individual here on our microphone and our cameras to tell us his strategies and how he plan to mitigate them. So we're gonna dive into the next question, which is Mr. Thomas, what are your main goals and initiatives for your term as president for this student council?
Thank you again, Saras. So there are two responsibilities of a leader or of any leadership in the Liberian students community, and one is advocacy, and two is to intervene in students matters. So one thing I've observed is we are almost 400 or more than 400 Liberian students on this island, and we do not have the presence of our national government in this space. Even though this is a de facto country, they cannot be here. But with their relationship with Turkey, the consulate in Turkey should be open. And it is one thing that pushed me to contest for this presidency, and I've been given the as I've been given leadership to serve the Liberian Students Association. It is one thing that my team and I will work on to ensure the safety, to ensure the presence of our leadership is in Turkey, and it will be felt in Cyprus here. So we have other things in store. We have we want to continue intervening in students' matters, like we have started where the maximum we've charged for students cases here is 700, and comparing that to past leadership, it is 2 or 3 times more of that. So there are a whole lot in stores, and there are a whole lot for us to discuss here today. So I look forward to having this discussion with you, Cyrus.
So thanks a lot, Mr. President. This has been your regular online podcast, the Student Voice Cyprus. This is where we place a spotlight on issues that surrounds and affect us as students. And we want to say thank you to the management of the Cyprus International University for giving us this opportunity to have our voices heard here in their production studio. So we will dive into the next discussion or the next question for our president here. So that is going to be, how do you plan to engage and involve the student body in making your decision?
So under my platform, I included something called the public information box. I don't know whether you saw it, but the public information box is a channel where students will give advices, where students will make recommendations and suggestions to the leadership, so that we can work when it is necessary and it is beneficiary to the students body, so that we can work with it as a working tool. So this is a form that encourages open governance. This is a form that encourages the idea of everybody on board, so that everybody can bring their own ideas on board and we work with it. So one thing I would do in this leadership is to have a roundtable discussion with the students always, from campus to campus or online, even if it is online, to just solicit the views of students, and see how we can work around things that are affecting them, recommendations, whether it is necessary that we take their recommendations as a leadership. Once it is in the interest of the Liberian students, we will keep taking recommendations from students. As we all know, whole lot of students want to contribute to leadership here. Some of them are shy, and some of them, they do not want to get involved, or do not want their name to be involved with everything. So it is one reason why we introduced the public information box, and it is a way, to engage with students, and to give them performance. How will I say this? To give them outcome of what we have been doing, to give them reasons why this is not done and that is not done. So students and this leadership will work hands in hands to see how best we can achieve the goals of this my administration.
Too much information for this information buzz coming from the leadership of the recent elected leader to the Liberian Student Council organization or association, if you may. So, I mean, we can say from the anchor of the Student Voice Cyprus that this leadership is a media friendly leadership, because we texted them like prior to this podcast. It was like few hours to this podcast, but they turn up, and here we are having the discussion, so we can tell you that there is media friendly discussion. And we look forward to more of the discussion from the anchor of the student council president, that is in student Thomas Dean. So that is going to lead us to our second to the last question. So, are there any specific challenges or issue you hope to address during your term?
One is with the safety of the students on this island. The Liberian students on the island are vulnerable to arrest, and because of that, most of them do not turn up for Liberian events, especially indoor Liberian events. They do not turn up for it when it is in the day, because they are afraid that they will be arrested at those events. So one challenge is students' vulnerability to police arrest in Cyprus here. And another thing, we are faced with is financial difficulties as students out here. So we want to work with national leadership to see how best we can work around things to achieve the interest of the students at within Cyprus here. So another thing we are faced with is our informations or this association is not digitalized. So it is something we have on mind, and we have started working on digitalization of the Liberian Students Association. So the website is in progress, and right after inauguration, it will be launched to the students.
Okay, that's good. That's good to hear. So, before I give way to my co-host, Mr. Sean Sanuda, to come and have maybe a few questions for you, Mr. President, I would just want you to throw a little light on maybe the last question. How do you plan to collaborate with other student organization or unions here in Cyprus? I mean, doesn't have to be the Liberian Student Union, but maybe other student, maybe the African Student Union, the Nigerian, whatever it might be. How do you plan to, cross cut these challenges when it comes to, unioning with the another or different groups of student union? How do you plan to do that?
So the Liberian Students Leadership or the Liberian Students Association is just one body of the African Students Association or the African Students Union in Cyprus here. So I believe we have certain problems that we are faced with as international students out here. So when problems of such arises, we will meet with our counterparts to see how best we can tackle those problems our students are confronted with at various universities. So like you said, the Nigerian Students Association president, like the past president Henry, have been a good friend to our leadership, our current leadership, and we will continue working with the Nigerians. We will continue working with other students' leadership to see how best we can curtail problems Africans or international students are engulfed with on this island.
Okay, so you have heard from the horse's mouth, how he, wish to mitigate or to navigate these manifestos when it comes to his campaign promises. So we are here once again in the studio of the Cyprus International University campus, and we are opportune to have with us in studio the Liberian Student Council President, 2024 elect, and he's here outlining this strategy that he planned to use to navigate his manifestos. So it have been actually an intriguing interview here with the president elect, and we look forward to more of this discussion, because from the look of things, we notice that this leadership is indeed a student friendly one. So until we meet again, this has been your regular co-host, student Cyrus Ndua, as last Ultra Cyrus. Bye again from my end, and I will introduce my co-host, student Sean Mazima Sanude. Maybe he has some little insight or some little question for our president here. So, Mr. Sean, welcome to the podium.
Thank you so much.